Good morning and welcome. I'm going to be doing a little releasing this morning. So it's really great to be with you. What we're going to be using, I'm going to angle this a little bit so you can see me better. Okay. We're going to be using some yoga tune-up balls or yoga therapy balls. And they come two in a pouch. And we're going to be using both of these. Sometimes we're going to have them in, sometimes we're going to take them out. So let's start with a little breath, and it's going to be a nice, yummy practice. Like a self-massage in a way. Then sit tall and take the back of your head over the back of your hips, and breathe in and out the nose. 3 breaths. Make your exhales a little longer than your inhales. Activate your parasympathetic nervous system. 1 more breath. All right, and we're going to start with the feet. So we'll have 1 ball for this one. And come into just a good standing posture with the ball on the floor. And we're going to start with the ball under the balls of the foot. So even your pinky toe has a ball underneath it. And we go from the big toe to the pinky toe. I call this the ball panel of the foot. I'm just going to release some of that tension there. Once you've established where your foot is and where the ball is, that everything's cool, then look up. Excuse me, and keep the back of your head over the back of your hips in the standing pose too. Now we're going to roll through the whole sole of the foot from front to back, right up to the heel bone. And make sure that you get all sides of your foot. Now even your pinky toe, it also has an arch. It's just not as pronounced as the big toe, which is why usually when we refer to the arch, we refer to this one on this inside big toe. And if there's any particular area that feels a little stuck or tight, you can spend a little bit more time in that area. Now we're going to do a plantar fascia stretch. So we're going to take the ball, we're going to put the foot flat, but we're going to have the toes off the floor. So your big toe and the next 2 should be kind of wrapped around the ball. Kind of like if you were going to take a baseball and you're going to pitch with like a little spin on it. It's kind of like what your toes might be doing. And then we'll take this other foot, we're going to step forward. Peel your heel up through the sole of the foot towards the toes. And come back, and you can either hold this stretch, or I kind of like to go back and forth in it. So I'm going to do 3 of these little kind of walk forwards, I call them. And then just notice the difference between your right foot and your left foot. And we'll go over here to our second foot. Starting with the ball panel of the foot. Don't forget to breathe in and out of your nose the whole time. And once you've established where your foot is and where the ball is, keep your head over your hips. Roll through the sole of the foot now. Now put big toes up against the ball and the sole of the foot on the floor and walk forward. Then you can either hold or do a little in and out 3 times. And relax. Okay, next we're going to get into the calf. So we want to put these together, cinch them up. And we're gonna place them underneath the ball panel of the foot so that your heel is touching the floor and the ball panel is up on the balls. And with this other foot, this is where, if your calf is really tight, your foot might be back here a little bit. But if you walk it forward, you're gonna get more and more and more stretch. So be in a comfortable position where you can allow your calf muscles to release. And we're gonna twist to the right and to the left. And switch sides. And relax. All right, next we're going to the hamstrings. So if you have really tight hamstrings, this is something for you, and if you don't, this probably just feels really amazing. So where we're gonna put these is right at the top of the hamstrings. So if you imagine, have a seat on the floor with me here, and it's this very top piece, right about here. And I'm just going to sit tall, lifting my heart, and then taking the leg and externally and internally rotating. And if it's not quite there, you might move it around a little bit and find where it's most effective. And then recently I had a little hamstring tendinopathy. It was from I injured my hip a little bit. This was the first time I've had any hip pain since, 14 and a half years ago. But one of the things that was connected was this hamstring here. And so had a little work done on the hamstring and did a little of this too. Let's switch sides. Sometimes it's also related to other things like the knee or the hip. Breathe slow and smooth, keep your head over your hips and your chest lifted. Last breath. And then go ahead and release gently. All right, another one of my favorites is one for the quadriceps. So where we're going to start with the balls is we're going to be lying down on our bellies, but we're going to place the ball right here in the hip flexors. So if you feel for your hip bone, your ASIs, we're going to put it right kind of toward the inside and just right below the ASIs. So right there. And we're going to get into an army crawl position. So if you have your, let's kind of get to the back of the mat a little bit, because we're going to crawl forward. So I have my right knee here for support, my left hip right here on the balls. I'm going to roll my body slightly so I can get to the outside of the hip. I can kind of like roll. There's this muscle called sartorius that's kind of over there on the outside. And then I'm going to start to crawl forward. So I go knee, elbow, elbow. And you can certainly feel your quadriceps here releasing. Knee, elbow, elbow. Rolling down the length of the leg. She thinks so too. And once you get down towards the knee, it may feel a little like, okay, I'm done. It's not very effective anymore. Just gently push yourself back and switch to your other side. But take your time here. So now I'm on this right side and I've got again, I'm right here in the hip flexors, I'm rolling towards this little outside line. Now I'm going to start the crawling action. This is Cha-Cha right here. She's waiting for me to rub her belly, which will happen right after the session. Keep breathing in and out of your nose. Even if you get to an area that feels a little tight, a little sore, and then gently push yourself out. Excellent. All right, well, some of our favorite areas for this work is kind of releasing with these balls is the low back. So I'm going to take each one of these out. And we're going to start at the low back and the lumbar spine. So here's where I'm going to put these. I'm going to put one on either side of the spine, right here, right here. But I'm going to lie down first. So lie down on the floor first. And then place them. So if you have your fingertips and your belly button and you trace around straight back, your fingers should run into the knuckles. Now you're going to take your knees and swish them side to side, right and left. And keep breathing slow and smooth. Now if this is really intense, and it may be if this is the first time you're ever doing this, you might have to arc your back up a little bit so that you have less pressure. Now another thing I want to warn you about is this feels great. I did do some of this ball work on the shoulder with someone who went a little too long and did this work for like 15 minutes in one spot and ended up bruised. So I want to just let you know that there can be too much of this. And so you want to stay in one area for not more than 5 minutes. And somewhere around 3 is great. Or less even. All right, now let's take them up a little bit more, and I'll show you where we're going to put them. We're going to put them in between the shoulder blades. So I can reach my arm around here, about here, and about here. And you may roll a little bit to get them right in the right spot. And you'll feel it when you get there, you'll know. What we want to do is we want to take the elbows and move the elbows and the arms around the body. And when you find a motion that feels really nice for you today, that's kind of what you want to explore is what's the right motion. So sometimes I tell people, like, take your fingers up and start to sign your name in cursive with both arms, and you'll probably find something you really like. Some kind of movement that really kind of gets in there. Keep breathing in and out of your nose, long, smooth breaths. And then we'll slowly, gently pull them out from behind the back. And then roll to your side and push up to seated. Now we're gonna stand up and we're gonna use the wall for a moment. So you can use a wall or like a door, any flat surface like this that you can stand against. So I'm gonna take one of them. I just want you to wind your arm around for a moment in a big giant circle. And see your range of motion here in the shoulder in reverse. And then we're gonna take this, now you know where your collarbone is, right? So if you imagine your collarbone in the back, we're gonna go under the collarbone, right? It's gonna roll here, and it's gonna go down into the shoulder blade. Here and down into the shoulder blade. And then what we'll do, so we'll do that a few times. And then we're gonna drop it down a bit and we're gonna roll underneath the blade to right over the armpit. And we're gonna do that several times. All right, so here we go. Pick a shoulder, any shoulder, and we'll start, put it down, get yourself down a little bit lower than you think, because it's easier to bend your knees more than to try to get up on your tippy toes. And just start this right there into the shoulder blade, along the collarbone, and down into the shoulder blade. Now we're gonna do this little bottom part that's from in between the shoulder blade and the spine. And this is kind of where you wanna be a little lower so that you can bend your knees and maneuver rather than going up on your tippy toes. So I'm rotating my body pretty well here, twisting to the side. Last breath on this side. So just take a moment and feel your shoulder. Now your range of motion may have really opened up here. And I use these a lot when I work with clients because a lot of times there's tension to relieve. There's also strength to make. So this helps in a lot of ways with mobility and also with waking stuff up. So it's kind of cool. Run right underneath that collarbone area. Again, bring it down a little further. That's my thing. So I gotta remember to bring it down a little further so I can bend my knees more than lifting up on the toes. And I'm going to take this and go to the inside of the shoulder blade. Bend my knees, turn to the side a little bit so I can get all the way into those shoulder muscles. All right, one more breath. And then we're gonna make our way back onto the floor, onto our backs. And we're gonna finish up with a little bit of neck. So we have these outside the little net bag, the net pouch. And then we're gonna take this block, so we're gonna use it in a second. And how we're gonna use it, we're gonna use it at this dimension. We're gonna use it medium height. And we're gonna put these, we're gonna find what I call the corner where the neck and the shoulder meet. They're gonna be right in here, squeeze them in this corner. And then we're gonna take this block and put it under the hips, again, medium height. Support your sacrum here with the block. And you've got this enough slope here so that you have some downward pressure on the balls. And here's my favorite motion with this. You can play around, but I like to take the arms up over the head and rest them on the floor and then roll my shoulders right, left. Roll them right, left, right, left. Deep breath. One more breath. We're going to pull these out from underneath. Pull the block out from underneath. And then roll to your side. And I'm going to set up to do this. So I'm going to put these both inside the little, inside the bag. And then we're going to get into the neck a little more. So you need a block and then the two nut balls. I'm going to put my neck right in the crease between them so that my vertebrae are not on the balls themselves. But I'm going to start to roll my head right and left. And you can be kind of like in the muscly part of the neck as you shift your chin side to side. And then what you might feel too is that you have these two suboccipital notches kind of close to the ear on the right and the left that you probably feel against the balls. And these spots are a little headachy, so sometimes you can relieve your headache simply by doing this. You get right up onto this notch and you start to nod your head yes, you nod your head no, and then make a circle. And it might be that one of those really, really does the trick for you. So choose one or go between all of them and then find the motion that most releases for you. And keep breathing. Make sure you go to both sides here. You have a lot of nerve endings and acupuncture meridians that run through your head. So you may start to feel those open up a little bit. Maybe your sinuses open up a little bit here. Take another breath. And then we're going to take these to the back of the head, right in the middle of the occiput. Occiput is that round back of the head piece. So right there in the right center of the back of the head. And just nudge your chin. Yes, no. I'm like I'm taking a yes today. So you might also feel a lot of nerve endings over your head, behind your eyeballs. Just take a nice deep breath. One more breath. And then we're going to relax. So if you want to keep working with the balls, as I'm sure you might, since this is so yummy, you can keep doing that, or you can take a shavasana and legs up the wall and rest. So happy Wednesday, full moon day, and I'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully you will too. So stay tuned, and in the meantime, take good care.